So guys, today we'll have some exciting session where I'll be discussing various aspects of POSH. And basically POSH stands for Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace. And of late, this has become, very important subject, not only in India, worldwide also, because we see that, 1 out of 4 women are sexually harassed at workplace. And we see that this has a lot of importance, especially in Indian context, because we see that this is one of the grave, crime against women. And we see that India is now capital city or capital, world capital for crime against women. So it's very grave. And we see that sexual harassment happens every 27 minutes, there is one sexual harassment. And if you go beyond sexual harassment, it's rape. And every 3 minutes, there is one rape worldwide. Right? So this is how it is grave and serious subject. And this has to be addressed, right? And then there needs to be a lot of awareness sessions, especially, HRs and, people who play very key roles, managers. So these people are, very important to disseminate this knowledge and understand how serious it is and how does it affect our GDP also. So my dear friends, so let's start the session. So first thing first, so this is about sexual harassment at workplace. This is a very important topic, very important aspect, which corporates are, taking a lot of, toll on this, and they're investing a lot of on this subject. And the best part of POSH awareness or POSH trainer is that anyone can do this session. You do not have, like me, qualification of law, master's degree, and etc., etc. So you need not have all those things. Just anyone can be a POSH trainer. That's the beauty of this, because this is a mandatory session by the government of India, that every corporate, every office, wherever there are more than 10 employees, they should have this session. Okay, so I train people on awareness and also make POSH trainers all over India. So there are more than 60 POSH trainers I have made, and and now they are all doing their own awareness sessions all over India. And so the beauty of POSH session is that this addresses, this POSH Act addresses prevention of sexual harassment at workplace. And we see one by one how it is important and what are the various aspects. So yeah, so we'll see. First thing is that, so I have my own academy called Gauranga Academy for Legal Studies. So I deal exclusively POSH awareness session and all over India, pan India, and I train also people in this. And yeah, okay. So yeah, so briefly about content. So these are some of the contents which I will be talking about. And POSH, POSH. POSH stands for Prevention of Sexual Harassment, POSH. But this is only a 50%. So prevention of sexual harassment at workplace for women. Okay. So I repeat once again, POSH Act is nothing but prevention of sexual harassment at workplace for women. Okay. Now somebody will be curious, what about men? So I'll address this. So you have to wait. Everything, all your doubts, whatever you have, I'll address them, because I'm one of the leading POSH expert, right? They say that I'm leading POSH expert, but so I can answer all your questions, any questions, right? And okay, now this is the one of the beautiful act, I think all over the world also, that never it had been such a beautiful act. And the beauty of the act is that it addresses the sexual harassment at workplace for women. Okay, so We'll see that how this POSH Act has come into the picture. So it's very important for us how it has come into the picture. So it started, uh, way back 1993. India has ratified. Ratified means it was a signatory in the United Nations Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, QIDA, right? And this is where India ratified. See, once you ratify anything in UN, you have to come back to your country and implement it. So that's where it started, and we see that first ever case of sexual harassment which came into the picture and which came out as a big news in India was the first case in 1992. It's called Banwari Devi case. I'll just briefly talk about Banwari Devi. Uh, she is you know, government servant. She was working for government of Rajasthan as a, satin. Satin means satin. Satin means, the person employed by the government and go house to house and talk about child marriage or abolish of child marriage and send kids to the school, back to school. Okay. So these are, basically upliftment of the society projects by the government. So what happened is in the due course of her work, we call it her workplace as going house to house or going, house to house and talk about this issues of child marriage, child education, abolishing of child labor. So these are some of the government projects, and she was there involved. So what happened in one of the village, Banwari Devi was brutally, raped. It was a daylight rape, and persons who were involved, they were from high class or you can say upper class, and they were really this was a very horrible incident. And what happened is when she went to police station, they didn't even register a FIR, and they just ignored that her plea. And she went to the lower court. She went to High Court of Rajasthan, and this is where again she was not given a fair chance to hear her case. It was uh, dismissed, and this is where she was noticed by a group of women called, they themselves called as NGO Vishakha. So Vishakha is an NGO consisting of women folk, and they formed and they represented this Banwari Devi case in Supreme Court of India, and they put PIL, that is, public interest litigation, in Supreme Court of India, and this is where they knocked the door of Supreme Court and asked the justice. And beautiful, guidelines have come from this, particular case or act. Okay, so Banwari Devi case led to Vishaka guidelines. So Vishaka guidelines is nothing but guidelines how sexual harassment can be prevented at workplace. So it talks great deal about what are do's and don'ts, right? So this guidelines. So what happened is uh, guidelines are not taken into serious. Something okay. We give guidelines, whether it is followed or not, whether somebody is behind that or not. So these are just ignored. So what happened is then government thought no, guidelines is not enough. But by the way, still we are guided. All our workplaces are guided by Vishaka guidelines. So government thought no, why don't we bring it into a law? We need to bring it into an act. So that's where in 2013 POSH Act has come into the picture, right? So it took almost 16 years to get the POSH Act into picture, right? So we'll see that, and this is how the POSH Act has come into picture, and POSH Act was enacted in the year 2013. So this is how it is. I just gave a brief introduction. Yes, We see that, sexual harassment is not spared even big people. Big people have lost their careers, lost their jobs, lost their positions because of this small mistake they have done. For example, we see that famous cases like Paula Jones, Bill Clinton case. Okay, so I'm not going to deep. So you have to end up paying 8,50,000. Okay, so this is how serious it is. Allegations once they are proved, it's very serious. You cannot come out of that. And we see that many famous Indians, Tarun Tejpal, R.K. Pachori, he's a Nobel laureate, and Supreme Court judge, A.K. Ganguly, Fanish Murthy, Infosys, these great people, who are holding high positions, they were also knocked down. And recently, I think Mr. Pachori has passed away. And this is how it is. And we see that, very often this news comes in the newspapers very often, sexual harassment, how big it is and how it is taking the toll, and how, things are happening across the world. Okay, and we see that POSH, okay, prevention of sexual harassment, some of the great companies which are following, and they're very successful. Okay, and you see that top video, yeah. So yes, and we see that just I think this slide I should have taken later, but I'll take it right now. See, Porsche is one of the company which is having Porsche in place, and global talent track. So just Genpact, and all these big companies, they incorporate this Porsche Act very seriously, and they have regular sessions. And these are all the company, Tata, DBS, take later on. Yeah. So understand the basics of Act. So as I said, QIDA was the convention where India represented and ratified. And this is Banwari Devi, yes, picture. And this is, now she goes all over the world, addresses various issues pertaining to sexual harassment. And she's called as a guest for international conventions. And this is about her. One of my mentee, she will be meeting her very soon, and will be doing an interview with her. So great lady. The best part of Banwari Devi is that she's so determined, even in spite of being brutally raped, harassed, right? She continued her job. She pursued her job. She continued. She didn't stop it. And her husband also supported in this cause. So this is about Banwari Devi. And about Vishaka guidelines, yes, we are all guided by Vishaka guidelines. So some things I'll just go oversee that, it's not required. And advent of law, yes. So the POSH Act now is applicable for whole of India, and it's the only protection for women at workplace. Of course, we have other ways of dealing if it is other gender, right? Okay, and yes, preamble of the act is an act to provide protection against sexual harassment of women at workplace, and for the prevention and redressal of the complaints of sexual harassment, and for the matters connected therewith or incidental therewith. So basically, the preamble says that it's protection against sexual harassment at women at workplace, of women at workplace. All right. So basically, we see that POSH Act is a three-dimensional. I repeat once again, it's three-dimensional. So first is prevention, next is prohibition, and third is redressal. And this is the preamble of the POSH Act. No woman shall be subjected to sexual harassment at any workplace. So I request you to write it down or take a picture, take a photo, whatever you want. This is the preamble of the POSH Act. No woman shall be subjected to sexual harassment at any workplace. So this is the preamble of the POSH Act. So if you see what is the sexual harassment, sexual harassment is nothing but it has got different definitions, right? So we'll see all kinds of definitions, and as per the act also, so it's basically bullying or coercion of sexual nature or the unwelcome. So my dear friends, just remember it's unwelcome or inappropriate promise of rewards in exchange for sexual favors. In most modern legal contexts, sexual harassment is illegal. Sexual harassment is gross violation of women's right to equality and dignity. All right. So the catchword here is unwelcome. So sexual harassment is basically the root word is unwelcome. So the catch is unwelcome. Whenever there is unwelcome, that leads to sexual harassment. Yeah. So, whereas the sexual harassment results in violation of fundamental rights of women to equality. So, my dear friends, whenever there is sexual harassment, it's a pure violation of right to equality, right? Or women's right to equality. So, this is one of the right. We'll see what all rights are also violated when there is sexual harassment. Okay, sexual harassment includes any one of the following, right? This is as per the definition of the act, right? So this is the definition as per the act. So it says directly or by implication, all right? And there should be physical contact or advances or demand for sexual favor and sexually colored remarks. Okay, so we'll see that what is this sexually colored remarks? Showing pornography, or any other derogatory pictures, cartoons, or any other. Okay, so it's basically unwelcome physical, verbal, or non-verbal conduct of sexual nature. So this is section 2 as per that. So we can ignore this. Yes. So this is the definition. Again, it's very simple. Sexual harassment is gross violation of women's right to equality and dignity. So if you see any discrimination at workplace is violation of fundamental rights and not just leaving sexual harassment, but any discrimination, right? So this is the violation of fundamental rights, and whenever there is a violation of fundamental rights, it's a grave thing because fundamental rights are guaranteed as enshrined in the Constitution of India for every citizen. So whenever there's a pure violation, that means there is an infringement of the fundamental rights, and it's taken very serious. So fundamental rights are very fundamental for every citizen of India. So they cannot be violated. And this is where the picture of sexual harassment come into the scene, and it takes it very serious. It's taken very serious. And we see that, okay, so these are the 6 fundamental rights. Actually, 7th is also there, right to property. Now it is no more, it is removed. And these are the 6 fundamental rights.
Fundamental rights. Number 1, right to equality.
Yes.
Right to freedom.
Yes.
Right against exploitation. Yes. Rights to freedom of religion.
Yes.
Cultural and educational rights.
Yes.
Rights to constitutional remedy.
All right. So the answer is 1, 2, 3. Right? Right to equality, right to freedom, right to exploitation. So these are the basic fundamental rights which are violated, right? Whenever there is a sexual harassment. Yes, right to constitutional remedy is of course, right? But the basic fundamental rights in, or if you say sexual harassment per se, it is 1, 2, and 3, right? So I think Rekha is correct, Swami is correct, and yes, I think Sri Lal is also correct. Yeah, and those who have given 6 also is correct, no problem. I take it. All right, so this is how it is, and so these basically sexual harassment is nothing but violation of fundamental rights. So 5 fundamental rights are violated whenever there is a sexual harassment, which is there in the Article 14, the form of Article 14, 15, 19, 21, and 42, right? So I know that, by end of this session, you'll not remember the articles. At least you'll remember 14, 15, 19, 21, 42. So that's the reason I told you to, type it. So can I request one volunteer who will read Article 14? Yes. Volunteer, please. Anyone? Who wants to read? You have to just unmute yourself and read.
Article 14.
Yeah.
Equality before law.
Yeah.
Article 15. Prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth.
Yes.
Article 19, 1G. To practice any profession or to carry out any occupation, trade, or business.
Yes.
Article 21. Protection of life and personal liberty. Article 42. Provision for just and humane conditions of work.
Absolutely. So these are the fundamental rights which have been violated. 14 is equality, 15 is no discrimination, 19 is practice whatever occupation, all right, and 21 is protection of life and liberty, and Article 42 is to provide just humane conditions of work. All right, so I put it in a tabular form. So very simple. You can take photograph, or if you want, you can write this 14, 15, 19, 21, and 42. So these are the fundamental rights which have been violated. So this is again the importance of the POSH Act. So what is the importance of POSH Act is to stop gender bias and inequality, to stop check erodes of equality, to maintain equality of life, liberty, and dignity of lives, avoid affecting the physical, psychological well-being of the workers at risk, corrupt the deep-rooted socio-cultural behavior patterns and patriarchal effects, poor productivity and negative impact on the lives and livelihood. Okay, this is very important point. Just remember this. We'll talk about this, or we'll go into this also. So what is sexual harassment? Very simple. It's a bullying or coercion of sexual nature or unwelcome or inappropriate forms of regards in the sexual favors. Okay, 3 ingredients of sexual harassment. It's very important. Note this down. Very important. What are the 3 ingredients? It should be sexual in nature, it must be unwelcome, and it must occur at workplace. Right? So I repeat, sexual in nature, must be unwelcome, must occur at workplace. Now, we'll come to why aspect. 5 reasons why your company should have POSH training or POSH in place. Okay, I'll go to the next slide. 5 reasons the organization could face legal consequences. So my dear friends, yes, I need someone to read this. Jayanti, can you read this? Yeah. Or Gururaj, anyone? Volunteer, can you read this?
I'll read it out.
Yes.
5 reasons why your organization could face legal consequences.
Yes.
1. If your organization fails to constitute POSH complaints committee.
Yes.
2. If your organization fails to act upon recommendations of the compliance committee. 3. If your organization fails to file an annual report with the district office where required.
Yes.
4. If your organization repeats the breach or POSH Act 2013.
Of course. Yeah. So these are the legal consequences. Okay. So every organization more than 10 employees should form an ICC or IC, whatever you call it, right? Internal Complaints Committee. And next is they should have this awareness session for all the employees. Okay. And you should also file annual report with the district officer which is under the collectorate, and you should every year you should compulsory file annual report. Just there's one column is format for that, which all these details pertaining to POSH Act and legal aspects I do in my special sessions, where I do one-on-one and online also. So you can contact me later on for this kind of critical things. But I'll just try to complete this POSH Act. And yes, 5 reasons why your organization could legal consequences. Yes, continuation that ICC should be formed. Okay, and whenever there's a sexual harassment case, it should be handled impartially. Very important. So ICC committee should be very impartial and they should not be biased. And ICC committee, for every organization, ICC committee is a must, where there are more than 10 employees, and ICC committee minimum 3 members are required. Okay, that is how it is. Okay, I'll put my video and you can see the background how it is. So we see that India is leading, okay, in terms of sexual harassment. It's second in the world, okay. And so most dangerous countries for women, and India is ranking number 1. So you see, so many untoward incidents happening against women, all the crimes. So yes, people like you should do a lot of awareness sessions, do a lot of work for the NGOs who are doing this work, and give our time, substantial time. So this is about rape. So you see, crime against women is committed every 3 minutes in India. Okay, and India is considered the most dangerous country for sexual violence against women. So we have a lot of responsibility to do our part, and definitely we can do good thing. And my dear friends, everyone has to take note of this. Almost 80% won't report. Okay, 78% of those who sexually harassed at workplace do not report it. It's a very serious thing. So we should make aware of them. Law is for you, protects you. Okay, and so he said that 78% don't report. Very serious thing. Yes, you should make them understand how serious it is. They should come forward and report to the IC and tell them, this is super confidential. The IC bodies very, very confidentially handle this sexual harassment cases. Even one member of this IC committee, if he is not keeping it as confidential, there's a penalty as per the POSH Act. There's a penalty of 5,000 on the person. So whenever there's a sexual harassment case, confidentiality is super at most. So that is the assurance for the victim to come out and speak. So this is how it is. All right. And see, one of the case last year, hospital was asked to pay 25 lakhs to the victim. There are a lot of cases. Even last year, one of the company has to pay 51 lakhs to one of the victim. So that's why when you do good awareness sessions, this legalities will come down. HRs, they think that this topic we can do once in a while for the heck of it. No. See the cost. In US alone, sexual harassment leads to around $1.3 billion yearly in terms of legal settlements. I'm not talking about other costs also. It's huge. Okay, so we should not take this awareness session. Oh yeah, it might cost time for the employees, but it brings up awareness. That's very important. And we see that, yeah. So this is something. So what is the most common type of harassment in today's workplace? Sexual harassment. So, this is exclusive about, physical. So basically, sexual harassment happens in three forms: physical, verbal, and non-verbal. So can you all go into the chat and type 3 types of sexual harassment? Just write physical, verbal, and non-verbal. Right? PVN, whatever you like. Everyone, 3 types of sexual harassment: physical, verbal, non-verbal. Yes. I'll see the chat. Who is typing? Yes. Thank you, guys. Suranarayana. Yes. Yes. Rekha, Nanya, Sunil, Jayanti. Yeah. Thank you so much. So we'll see that physical sexual harassment. So basically 3 types of sexual harassment. PVN. That is physical, verbal, and non-verbal. Yeah. Great. Thank you, Twinsy. Thank you so much. Yeah. So this is how it is. Yes. Thank you, Anand. All right. So this is my interpretation after reading this law extensively and doing handling various types of cases of this sexual in nature. So I've come into this various physical sexual harassment, that is standing close and brushing, right? So it should not stand very close to the opposite sex, because workplace is an area where we come with a professional behavior and we have to keep that to the utmost. So coming close, brushing. I request someone to read this. That will be great. Yes, Rekha, can you read this? Physical sexual harassment, various aspects of this. Yes.
Standing close,
Yes.
brushing,
Yes.
touching,
Yes.
patting and tapping,
Yes.
cornering, grabbing, blocking passage,
Mm.
bumping, hugging, kissing, pinching, back massage, attempted rape.
Yeah. So, my dear friends, so this is awareness. This is how it is. These all things come under sexual harassment. Okay. Now, the question is, sir, how can we prove? So, whoever the victim, they have to just come to the IC and report it. That's it. Sir, somebody has grabbed me. So, as per the definition of the act, physical, okay? Anything which is unwelcome and physical or advances is considered as sexual harassment. So immediately the person is the perpetrator. So it's very important to understand this. And somebody blocks message, right? And here I'll tell you what is the beautiful evidences in our workplaces. What is the biggest evidence? I go to the companies and there's a sexual harassment cases. First thing is that we take the footages. That is the biggest savior for us. And of course, if there is a any kind of witnesses from the victim, is always welcome. And we request, we can conclude with the person perpetual and is he doing with other women also. So many things, it's a foolproof system where we do investigation 360 degrees and then we come to a conclusion. It's never hasty, right? So that is how it is. Okay, so my internet is coming to little bit of unstable. So anytime I can bloop. So I'll just try to finish off the topic in next 15 minutes. Then I'll take question answers. So okay, so this is physical and yes. Can I have someone volunteer reading verbal also? One volunteer from men's side.
Demanding sexual favors.
Yes.
Unwanted
Invitations
to go out on dates.
Yeah. Yes.
Jokes with sexual connotation.
Yes.
Emails, SMS, WhatsApp with sexual connotation.
Yes.
Talking to woman employee about wife.
Yes.
Comments about clothing, personal behavior or a person's body.
Yes.
Insulting and humiliating.
Yes.
singing obscene songs,
Yes.
obscene jokes and remarks, whistling,
Yes.
etc.
Yes.
Very good list. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So this is, verbal sexual harassment. Before Corona, there was a lot of, I feel, invitations to go on dates, right? So that was something very frequently happening. And after Corona or in Corona or, during Corona, using this internet, social media has increased. And believe me or not, this has been increasing, right? So you can even guess during Corona there was sexual harassment cases or not much? Or you think there were a lot of sexual harassment happening during Corona more than pre-Corona or before Corona? What used to happen? Is it more or less? There were surprisingly, okay, 6%, 6 to 8% more cases during Corona than before Corona, because we are having easy access to all kinds of messengers. All right, we have WhatsApp, we have Facebook Messenger, we have Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, what you name, So all these are easily accessible, and we send something wrong message, and it turns out to be sexual harassment, and it's a very serious act. And my dear friends, internet you cannot escape. Once you have sent a wrong message, you have the option of delete for everyone in the WhatsApp. Even if you try to do that, still we can recover from the server. So one screenshot is enough. So it will delimit our career. Right? So we should be very, very careful, especially when we are using internet on social media, because here we'll not accept any kind of excuses. Oh, sorry, I was in deep sleep. All of a sudden, I've done it or something. No, excuses are not pardoned here. So it's very serious. Okay, somebody's chatting. I have a network issue, getting disconnected now and then. I'm trying to stay connected. Please pardon me. Same with me also, Srinaran. So I'm also selling the same boat, but I'll definitely, continue. All right. And I'm very eager to take questions, but we'll finish up this topic and take questions. Then again, come back. Yeah. So I have somebody volunteer reading this verbal sexual harassment. Continuing. Can
Yeah.
someone? Yes. Thank you.
Absence, phone calls, calling
Absent.
late night,
Yes.
talking with unnecessary touching,
Yes.
calling to cabin unnecessarily,
Yes.
using darling, honey, sweetheart, etc.
Yes.
Comments about women's pregnancy, lack of children, etc.
Yes.
Discussing marriage, fertility,
Yes.
asking about abortion,
Yes.
personal issues, why don't you wear sindoor, ring,
Yes.
etc. Telling lies or spreading rumors about a person's personal or sex life.
Yes. So these are the very important things which come under verbal also. And yes, non-verbal. Continue.
Presence of sexual, visual material or pornographic material such as posters, cartoons, drawings, calendars, pin-ups, pictures, computer programs of sexual nature, staring at body, offensive gestures, social networking, morphing, showing pornography.
Yes. Good. So these are, few verbal, and see, you cannot call women at workplace with, slang words like honey, sweetheart. Any other words you have? You address women with slang and which are derogatory and which you should not use at workplace. Yes, some words can you recollect or can just tell them or put it on the chat which you should not be using at workplace, and they also constitute sexual harassment. Any other words we use? Sweetheart, uh, yeah, any words which you feel are not having sexual overtone, right? Janu, right? Or something, very derivative. Okay, so we cannot use this kind of words, especially darling, honey, sweetheart, right? Call them with the proper name. They have the name, call them. So this, because, okay, one very important thing everyone has to remember is, how can you say that this constitutes a sexual harassment or not, or whether this particular incident can be termed as sexual harassment or not? There's a thumb rule. There's a one thumb rule for determining whether this particular, incident is a sexual harassment or not. Okay, so if you want to know what exactly is the thumb rule, okay, go to the chat box and write TR, thumb rule. So thumb rule is very simple. It is the impact, not the intent. Impact, not intent. Everyone type intent, impact, not intent. Yeah. So the thumb rule is how it has impacted the other person. So if I say, someone say darling, right? So if she says that it has impacted me a lot, then she reports to the IC committee saying that, you use the word darling, which has impacted me. Then you become the perpetrator or you become the accused. So never ever use the words. And even if it is used, it is the impact which causes on the other person, right? It's very serious. That is where the beauty of the POSH Act comes. It is the impact which creates on the other person. Okay? So you should be very careful. You cannot take it easy. And once it's reported, yes, done. If it is impacted, then it's gone, right? So this is very important. Impact, not the intent, that matters in sexual harassment. So if you remember this one sentence, you are as good as, POSH advocate. So how it has impacted the other person, right? So that you should be very good in that. That's it. And some of the slides I'll just skip through, because I'll take question and answers. And yes, so these are, different sexual harassments using joke. What all I told you, they're all in the picture form. Okay. Yes. Now, my dear friends, now you are become Pandit or scholars in what comes under sexual harassment. All right. Now you should know what doesn't come also. Right. So what doesn't come? That's very important. So something like, asking criminal record or reputation, or what is your political belief, little bit of bullying, right? It doesn't, again, bullying also, be careful. It is the impact, right? So be careful. So these are, are you single or married? Again, the tone matters, right? So these are all, doesn't come under sexual harassment, right? So political affiliations and all these things, race, religion, national origin, age. And the good thing is that in India, you can ask anyone age. What's your age? Hey, tell me. But in America, it's a crime. If you ask anyone above 40 years, what's your age? They can sue you.